This meeting of March 15th, 2021 to order. Sandy, could we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Shippers,
Here, and Homan Cadillac.
Ellenboss,
President in Cadillac.
Ingalls,
Here in Cadillac.
King, Mayor Filkins.
Here in the city of Cadillac.
Sorry, does anybody know if Mr. King is calling in?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't believe he is, but I believe we have another member of the public that might be trying to come in.
Well, we've got two callers on the line, and I don't know whether either one of those is Mr. King, but callers can unmute themselves by pressing *6. If Mr. King is one of those, he can do that. Otherwise, I don't see him present.
Correct. Okay, at this time, would someone like to make a motion to approve the agenda for this evening?
I'd make a motion to, I'd make a motion to approve the agenda as presented, Ellenboss.
Shippers support.
Councilmember Ellenboss,
Yes.
Ingalls,
Yes.
King, Shippers,
Yes.
Mayor Filkins.
Yes, motion carries. At this time, we'll open the floor for our first public comment. We do ask if you would like to address the council that you keep your comments to 3 minutes or less, and be sure to introduce yourself and provide your address for the clerk.
Like I mentioned before, we have two callers on the phone, and if you would like to provide public comment, you can select *6 from your phone and unmute yourself. Caller ending in 1642, did you wish to give public comment?
Yes, I do. Thank you. I'd like to address City Council. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Randy Lindell, Lindell, and I live at 201 Howard Street, Cadillac. Good evening. I have a couple of issues I'd like to address to the council. And they start out, I'm trying to find out exactly what is the underlying ulterior motive of needing low-income housing to Cadillac. We're conducting surveys to prove that Cadillac needs low to moderate income housing when we are experiencing a spike in crime and opioid crisis. And now we're doing a survey for low-income housing of $15,000. I'm trying to make this as understandable as possible. And I'm going to cite some examples, such as why we need Cadillac castles for low-income housing. And again, Cadillac has been noted to becoming the hub of drug activity for the entire northern Michigan region, along with crime, and mainly the meth. And along with that, bringing in low-income housing, we are experiencing, this epidemic of opioid abuse, and it's a real sad situation, and this really needs to stop. So along with that, and then I want to emphasize that our main priority should be the Cadillac residents, the taxpayers who have been excluded many times throughout the many years here of subject of their happiness and peace, and why they have moved to the Cadillac region, and why I just don't understand. I know what is the motive of needing low-income housing to bring all this stuff to Cadillac. My taxes are high. My state of Michigan taxes are high. My federal taxes are high. When will this stop? I need to know that. Now, Cadillac, the city of Cadillac has spent a lot of money on the Cadillac lofts. They've gone out of their way for Cadillac castles, while to the Cadillac Junction site sits idle, and I'm not understanding that. And now, along with the monies being spent for the lofts, etc., for the survey for low-income housing, I just want to address council and get thoughts, maybe some input someday. And now we're going to be looking at spending almost $380,000 on a bike trailhead. I don't know if that's going to help the senior citizens or the youth of Cadillac, but if an explanation can be explained sometime, that would be wonderful. But Cadillac and the entire community, the emphasis should be our youth, our citizens, and our senior citizens of Cadillac. Thank you.
Would anyone else like to address the council? Not hearing or seeing anyone, we'll close public comment and move to the approval of the consent agenda. This evening, we do have the minutes from the regular meeting that was held on March 1st, along with the minutes from the closed session on March 1st.
Councilmember Shippers would like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second it. Ellenboss?
Councilmember Ingalls,
Yes.
King, Shippers,
Yes.
Ellenboss,
Yes.
Mayor Folkins.
Yes, motion carries. This evening, we do have a community spotlight. Marcus, would you like to introduce that?
Yes, thank you, Mayor and members of the City Council. About 2 to 3 weeks or so ago, the staff from Representative Michelle Hoydinger's office reached out and inquired if there would be an opportunity for the representative to address council to talk about various updates coming out of Lansing. We mentioned that Community Spotlight would be that perfect opportunity for such an update. And this evening, we are honored for our representative, Michelle Hoydinger, to have joined us. And this is the opportunity, Representative, for you to address council. If you could unmute yourself, it would be awesome. Michelle? So I just noticed a message saying that she needs to know when it's time to be unmuted. So I'm letting her know that right now.
She's unmuted, but she's not on video.
Okay. Unmuted on my end. I need my phone unmuted. Mike, what's the code again? Mike Homier?
Mike, you're,
Yeah, I believe it's 389.
No, the code on your phone to unmute.
Oh, it's *6. But she was on video a minute ago.
Yeah, the sound in her video system on her computer is not working. She's also on the phone and she just needs to unmute her phone.
I'll send her a message.
878-3888 is the number. All right, so it says she's unmuted, but do you need to unmute her on your end, Mike?
I do not. Oh, there she is.
Are you there, guys?
Yep.
All right. So the sound driver went out on my computer this afternoon. So I can see you, but you cannot hear me on my computer. So I had to switch over to my phone. Are we good to go?
We are.
Okay. Good to see all of you. I just want to take just 5 minutes to run through really quickly. We have a new term, new legislators, new committees. I just wanted to touch base with you guys to let you know what I'm up to and what committees I got, and just to let you know I'm here and haven't disappeared. I know COVID has turned our worlds upside down, so it's really strange not to be there in front of you. Okay, so let me start out real quick. I did get my committee assignments, Chair of Communications and Technology. Again, broadband expansion remains a priority of ours. A lot of federal money has been appropriated for broadband expansion, and so this is definitely a priority for us to continue getting broadband into unserved areas. We know as you guys are having committees on Zoom and our education, our students need access to this. COVID has really, shown a light on how much we rely on broadband. And so we need to get it to our unserved areas. I am the vice chair of Reg Reform. That's one of the busiest committees in the legislature right now. I am on the energy committee. We all know that energy is a hot topic right now as we start to move toward solar and wind turbines and green energy, while still hoping to keep gas and coal. So all of the above. So energy is a huge topic that we are covering and having committee hearings on. I am also on the oversight committee. Right now, we are digging into the COVID responses. Where have we gone right? Where have we gone wrong? Where did Michigan go wrong? Where do we need to improve on? Is legislation needed in the future to make sure if this ever happens again, or if we have another round of COVID or some type of epidemic, that we're doing things the right way and learning lessons. Other things that are in committees are ethics reforms. We're opening up the legislature and the governor up to FOIA, which has been attempted for, I've been there for 4 years. We've voted on this bill for 4 years. This will be my 5th year, 3rd term voting on this, and I support it. We just can't seem to get it to the governor's desk. I'm not sure why, but the transparency, I think more than ever, is needed in our government. You guys at the local level have to do this, so the state legislature and governor's office should also be held to FOIA. We're also trying to end lame duck sessions, and there's a plethora of other bills in that package. It's quite a big package. The other package that's being worked on right now in the healthcare, it's a healthcare package, somewhat controversial. Obviously, we have a free market, but we also have some things happening within that free market that seem to be pulling the prices up. We have some transparency issues, pricing on services, and cost of prescriptions. So we're trying to balance that, how do we put in some parameters to keep costs low while still respecting the free market? And so these committee meetings, I do not sit on health policy, but these committee meetings are very controversial, and they're about 3 committees a week are happening right now, which is almost unheard of. So we are trying to get that package through. Another thing is the budget. Obviously, the big topic. You'd have to be oblivious to not know what's happening. And so without getting into the weeds, we are going back and forth with the governor's office, trying to get the budget confirmed. The legislature's priority is to have schools open, with adequate PPE and funding. Business relief for the hardest hit businesses. We want to make sure those who did not qualify for loans or get any grants have that relief to keep their businesses open. And replenishing the unemployment system is really a big deal for us, because when that reaches a certain level, the employers in our municipalities and our communities, their rates are going to raise to cover those employees that are on unemployment. And so we're really trying to restore that fund. Of course, local governments funding so that you guys can perform your needed services. That is a priority, and that doesn't seem to be an issue. We all agree that you guys need funding, and as someone who has come from local government, I know the importance of this and getting this done. Other things that we funded, vaccines, PPE, and there was a lot of stuff that we did agree on. So a lot of federal money has been handed down to our states, so we just want to make sure that it is spent responsibly. The other thing, I heard one of the callers earlier talking about the meth and the drug issues. And COVID has really tremendously impacted the people with mental health issues. And we're seeing mental health access is critical right now. It's becoming even more of an issue than it was ever before. With all of us being isolated, the mental health issues are really at the forefront right now. And we are having people who are being denied services just because the organizations are so overwhelmed. And so I do want to put out there, just because I know this is a public meeting, that if anyone needs services, please feel free to call my office. If we can't get you local services, we will find something statewide, whether it be suicidal thoughts, mental health issues, or even drugs. And for our veterans, we have numbers you can call and access to organizations that we really want to be able to direct those people who are feeling really desperate right now. I took some calls today that were kind of heartbreaking, and so I just know this is a big issue for so many of our community members. I think that's about it. Let me look down my list. I think that's about it. If anyone else had any questions, I know that was a quick rundown of a million things that are going on in state government, and I just want to thank you guys. We had a tough election when it came to our clerks. I know they were very overwhelmed, and I want to thank all of our clerks for the great job they did in our district. I know that was a big election and a lot of new stuff that came forward that we had to overcome, and our district did really well. That's about it.
Representative, this is Marcus. Was there anything about the OMA being updated? And maybe you mentioned it right in the beginning and I didn't catch it. Regarding the
Yeah.
virtual meetings and whatnot.
Yeah, Open Meetings Act, definitely. I'm not hearing a lot of, I can't remember the cutoff date. I think we went another 6 months, or I think it went a year. So you guys will still have that option to go on. I do believe we carried that out for a year. But I will confirm that. I'm almost positive. So you guys should be good to go with that option of meeting locally, within your building or via Zoom.
Okay.
One other thing real quick, I know we did a lot of, trying to look at some of my notes here from calls that I took today. We did a lot of reforms in the criminal justice reforms. And so I'm working with some judges and prosecutors, some stuff that they're not happy with. I know, let me see, Honorable Elmore had some concerns too. So we did a lot of criminal justice reforms, and when we enact laws, some of the laws may have unintended consequences. I know there's some concerns about the jail there, and so I'm working with them. I just want everyone to know that if there's any issues with any of the laws that we passed previously, I'm here to listen, and that we can fix any flaws that we need to, if that makes sense. Unintended consequences of any past laws that were enacted. So I know that was one of the phone calls I took today with local concerns, especially at the county level.
Michelle, this is Carla, and I just want to take the opportunity to say thank you and how much we appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to give us an update. We've missed you, and appreciate all of the work that you do for us in Lansing.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate you guys and all that you're doing locally, and I wish you the best, and you know how to get a hold of me if there's anything you need. So
Absolutely. Okay, it looks like that there aren't any other questions, so thank you so much.
thank you.
Okay, that'll take us to some communications that we have this evening. Sandy?
Yes, it's being recommended to approve the requested street and parking lot closures from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. on June 7th, 2021 for Back to the Bricks. And I do believe we have someone from the Visitors Bureau on if you have any questions.
I'd love to hear about what it's going to look like. I was excited to see this on the
It's
agenda.
going to look, yeah, this is the promotional tour that's being put on by a group out of Flint. We are stop number 4 out of 5. They will be here on June 7th. They'll be arriving about 4, and the show will open up at 5 until 8. And we have requested to close Mitchell Street and some of the side streets, depending upon how many cars will actually sign up. We know right now we have about 200, but they are expecting maybe 300. They'll be here for a short period of time. And the Visitors Bureau, the Cadillac Festival and Events, the Chamber, and the DCA are all collaborating on this event. We will not have our own 2-day show this year. So this is it for the year as far as the antique car shows.
Okay. Well, at least they're coming, right? I'd like to, unless somebody else has something to say. Yeah. Anybody else? Then I'll make a motion to approve the requested street and parking lot closures from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. on June 7th, 2021 for Back to the Bricks.
Ellen Bass will second that.
Councilmember King, Shippers,
Yes.
Ellenboss,
Yes.
Ingalls,
Yes.
Mayor Folkins.
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
The next request is a request from the Lake Cadillac Restaurant Group LLC to allow for placement of tables and chairs for use as a sidewalk cafe in 2001, subject to the conditions noted. Council may remember we did approve this once, but the new owners need approval for in their name for the Liquor Control Commission.
Councilmember Shippers again. I'll make a motion to approve the request from Lake Cadillac Restaurant Group LLC to allow for placement of tables and chairs for use as a sidewalk cafe in the 2021, subject to the conditions noted.
Ellen Bass will second again.
Councilmember Shippers,
Yes.
Ellenboss,
Yes.
Ingalls,
Yes.
King, Mayor Folkins.
Yes, motion carries.
It's also being recommended to approve the closure of a portion of Chapin Street from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. on March 16th and March 30th, 2021 for the Joint Fire Department Training Exercise.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the closure of a portion of Chapin Street from 7 to 9 p.m. on March 16th, 2021 and March 30th, 2021 for the Joint Fire Department Training Exercise. This is Ellen Boss.
Are we like burning the building down? Are we like lighting it on fire? I'm not trying to take up. I was just quick answer.
I had the same question. And who all is participating?
Okay. Good evening, Mayor and members of council. The request for the closure of Chapin Street, first of all, the participating agencies are going to be Cherry Grove, Herring, and the city of Cadillac. There will be a smoke generator inside the building. It puts off a non-toxic type smoke so that they can train. The purpose of the training is a mutual aid training. It's going to go over the topic of unified command, communications, and accountability. And it brings the area departments closer and gives them some experience training with one another in case we have, large incidents that take place.
Have we done this before, Adam?
We have. We've had similar trainings in the past and have hosted them. And more, we seem to be working collaboratively together with the other area fire departments.
That's what I thought.
I'll support that motion that we have out there.
Councilmember Allenboss,
Yes.
Ingalls,
Yes.
King, Shippers,
Yes.
Mayor Folkins.
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
You bet. That then takes us to a reappointment this evening, Sandy?
Yes, it's being recommended to approve the reappointment of Connie Haupt to the Construction Board of Appeals for a 2-year term to expire on March 16th, 2023.
I will go ahead and make the motion to approve the reappointment of Connie Haupt to the Construction Board of Appeals for a 2-year term to expire on March 16th, 2023.
Support. Shippers.
Councilmember Ingalls,
Yes.
King, Shippers,
Yes.
Allenboss,
Yes.
Mayor Folkins.
Yes, motion carries. All right, city manager's report for this evening.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the City Council. The first item this evening under the City Manager's Report is a recommendation regarding the purchase of road salt. The city for many years has been participating in the state of Michigan's program called Michigan's Delivering Extended Agreements Locally, or My Deal program, whereby they competitively bid out for road salt. And us, along with over 100 other agencies, utilize this process to achieve essentially volume-based cost savings. As you'll see in the agenda packet, the recommendation this evening is to authorize up to 1,700 tons of road salt to cover the entire winter. And that number may fluctuate a little bit based upon what we actually purchase. We expect it to cost approximately $125,000 at an estimate of $75 a ton. Funds are available for this acquisition through our stores and garage fund for the purchase, and then within our budget itself, within our major and local street funds, we'll charge various activities accordingly off for the use of the salt, depending upon where and when it gets laid down. If there's any questions, myself or our finance director can try to address them.
How many tons did we buy last year?
I believe the same, but Owen, you can clarify that probably.
Yeah, we've bought 2,000 the last couple of winters,
Okay.
and there's a little bit more left this year, and so we're dropping it down a little bit so that we have enough space in the barn at the beginning of the year when they bring it.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Owen.
Yep.
Councilmember Shippers, I'll make a motion to authorize the city to participate in the My Deal competitive bidding process and approve the commitment to purchase up to 1,700 tons of seasonal road salt through the resulting State of Michigan contract at the unit cost bid approved by the State of Michigan.
This is Ingalls. I'll support.
Councilmember King, Shippers,
Yes.
Ellenboss,
Yes,
Ingalls,
Yes.
Mayor Folkins.
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the City Council. The next item is a purchase request regarding Aquadiscs. Aquadiscs is a piece of equipment that's used in our water treatment process that filters wastewater before it's discharged into the Clam River. Competitive bids were solicited. One bid was received from Aqua Aerobic Systems, Inc. out of Loves Park, Illinois, in an amount of $28,687. We do have an appropriation of $30,000 in our budget for the replacement of this necessary piece of equipment. And the recommendation this evening is to move forward with the Aqua Aerobic Systems, Inc. bid in an amount of $28,687 accordingly. Funds are available in our water and sewer fund for this piece of equipment.
How often do we replace these?
Jeff, would you like to answer that, please?
Yeah, about every 5 to 7 years, I'd say, depending on how much we use them. So
And is it normal only to receive one bid?
it is a specialty item that the factory makes, you know, so not a lot of people do aftermarket ones on those.
Okay.
So
Jeff, is there more than one Aquadisc? I mean, does this one purchase cover the whole treatment plant?
yeah, there's actually 3 Aquadisc, what I call Aquadisc tanks, and that will replace all 3. We'll be able to replace the filters on all 3 tanks.
Okay, thank you.
The other thing to add also is that the acquisition of this piece of equipment, because it is necessary, was not frozen as a part of our pandemic financial response plan.
Okay, would someone like to entertain a motion? I can't talk.
I'd make a motion to approve the addition of the building department module. Oops, wrong one. Motion to award the purchase of Aquadisc equipment to Aqua Aerobic Systems, Inc. in the amount of $28,687. Ellen does.
This is Ingalls. I'll support.
Councilmember Shippers,
Yes.
Ellenboss,
Yes.
Ingalls,
Yes.
King, Mayor Folkins.
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the City Council. The next item is with respect to a building department module that we're asking to acquire. This is to activate that portion of software within our BS&A system that the city acquired approximately 5 years ago, back in 2016. As you'll note in your packets, the BS&A software fully migrates integrated software across multiple departments in the city, our financial system, payroll system, human resources, and utility billing operations currently. Prior to that, we were already using the BS&A software to facilitate all of our tax billing and collections and special assessment tracking systems. This really, when we brought it all together back in 2016 under one roof, really helped us out tremendously. Right now, we're looking at activating the available building department module. It makes the most sense to keep it all under one roof and all under the BS&A platform versus trying to utilize another system or another piece of software and then trying to get those two systems to talk together. Specifically within our community development department, we're very eager to try to modernize. We have some new folks that are working for us now in that operation. And being able to leverage technology, we believe will absolutely help improve customer service, enhance staff efficiency, and really help us formalize our internal procedures using essentially logical software-based or electronic workflows. And this new building department module, as BSNA calls it, is really going to help fill that need. As you'll see in the recommendation, there are some costs certainly that are involved in it, including one-time setup costs. The total is $29,140, and our recommended action this evening would be to move forward with BSNA to get the module activated and installed accordingly on our system. Our finance director, Owen Roberts, who also serves as our internal IT support person locally, could probably provide you with some more in the weeds details about the programming itself, if that's of interest.
Is there anything else, Owen, that you think that we need to know?
Well, I think one thing that I wanted to really highlight on is this really is first and foremost a customer service thing that we're really trying to do here. Is one of the things that we've heard from contractors is the time from application to issuance of a permit could be improved, and so we're really trying to take that serious. And this is a way that we really have. We really are confident we'll accomplish that. We've talked to contractors, some of whom work out of town and have used this system in other communities and speak very highly of it. We did mention it to several local contractors as well, and they were very positive about the idea. Especially during a time where we've all kind of gotten used to doing some of this stuff electronically that maybe we haven't before. So we look at like the adoption rate for our online payments for other areas and other services, and those have been very, very good. And so we're real confident that this will be the same thing. So we really tried to hit those three things with customer service first and foremost, serving these busy contractors really well as best as we can, and that's both from the building and for some of John's operations on the community development side. So the zoning process to be able to set up workflows, get reminders, make sure something doesn't fall through the cracks. That will really enhance that then also from a internal process. And then just the efficiency then that we've gained, especially even on the rental registration program is another area that we can we'll see some real gains in terms of our efficiency on that. It's a lot of paper right now, and we're going completely electronic with that process.
So this sort of goes along with our development ready work that we've been doing. It would be another improvement to support that whole process of work that we've been doing, John's group has been doing.
Yes.
That's a great point. And that's one of the things that's right in there as far as the reporting that we're required to do as we move through the years on that process. And this system, we can pull some of those numbers and things right out of the system without having to compile that manually.
And Mayor and members of council, it also goes a long way towards your ongoing goals and priority programs that we'll be revisiting next week. But this, one of them talks about ways to continue to enhance services to the public, and this, without a doubt, would be charted and measured under that benchmark.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions? And if not, would someone like to entertain a motion?
Sounds like a good plan. So I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution to approve. Wait a minute. Where am I? No. Where am I?
C.
Oh, there it is. Approve the addition of the building department module to original purchase of BSNA software and authorize the city manager to execute the agreement with BSNA for the addition. Sorry about that.
I'll second that, Ellen Boss.
Councilmember Ellenboss,
Yes.
Ingalls,
Yes.
King, Shippers,
Yes.
Mayor Filkins.
Yes, motion carries. All right, is there a COVID-19 update this week?
The only update this week, Mayor, members of council, would be to remind people to please visit our local dhd10.org website. There's information there about how to register to get the vaccine if you haven't already, and certainly to provide guidance for people to contact their local doctors or practitioners if they have questions as to how to register or to get vaccinated as well.
Okay, thank you. All right, the next thing that we have on our agenda is the adoption of a resolution to approve Second Amendment to protective covenants and restrictions for the James E. Potvin Industrial Park.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the City Council. To provide some framework, the Second Amendment is with regard to what Council and the Planning Commission and the Cadillac Industrial Fund recently have all done with respect to the land swap with consumers for a portion of Lot 1 in exchange for Lot 2, which is the lot that they were previously on. The power company has that lot not for putting in an office building or a manufacturing site, but rather for there to be at some point or another, if necessary, essentially and the words are escaping me, and forgive me for this, but I want to say a power, not a power station, but a
Substation.
A what?
Substation.
Yes, thank you. A substation. The park covenants that you also have within your packet talk about everything from storage of materials to landscaping to building materials and things of the like. Consumers was not required to comply with those covenants when they originally had property in that park, because the property that they had was there before the park was created. And essentially, as a piece of housekeeping, they've asked to also be waived for having to have the covenants applicable to them if and or when they build a facility on Lot 1. None of the bodies yet have had an issue with it. The bodies I'm referring to specifically are the current park tenants are okay with the waiver, as well as the industrial fund. As a matter of timing, council is being asked to waive it this evening. Planning Commission will be also asked to waive it at their meeting in a couple of weeks from now. And the recommendation this evening is to waive it. Additionally, as we went through and looked at all the paperwork, there was a First Amendment that everybody signed off on, but we could not find the minutes for when council approved it. And so this resolution covers both, just to make sure that our books are completely up to date and that it's approved across the board. So when we re-record all the paperwork, it will make the file completely updated. And then the First Amendment had to deal with the storage of outdoor supplies and materials. That again went through the process of getting the park tenants to sign off, the industrial fund to sign off, and the planning commission.
Okay, would someone like to entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt a resolution to approve Second Amendment to protective covenants and restrictions for the James E. Potvin Industrial Park. Ellen Boss?
Shippers supports.
Councilmember Ingalls,
Yes.
King, Shippers,
Yes.
Ellenboss,
Yes.
Mayor Folkins.
Yes, motion carries. Okay, this evening in our packet, we do have the minutes from the last Downtown Development Authority meeting for our review as convenient. At this time, we'll open the floor for our second public comment. And same as the first, please keep comments to 3 minutes or less, and we'll let the clerk know who you are.
And if you're joining by telephone, you can press *6 and unmute yourself. I'm not seeing anybody in this room.
Okay, we'll go ahead and close public comment and move to the good of the order.
Oh, sorry. We have a hand raised.
Okay.
Telephone number ending in 1642.
All right, they just are going to have to unmute themselves and then they can go ahead and address the council.
I believe that's Mr. Lindell. Mr. Lindell, at *6 to unmute. There you go.
Yes. Mayor Filkins, is this the last public comment period for tonight?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. My last comment, and I'd like to again address it to council and that. As a citizen of Cadillac for many years, for over 40 years, I believe the bounds of decency have been crossed by the city of Cadillac and administrators these past years, and especially during this pandemic that's going on. And my main concern is the drug crisis, the opioid crisis that the city of Cadillac and the surrounding area is facing. And again, I want to emphasize, what is the push by the city of Cadillac for low to moderate income housing? I'm going to take a stand and say it needs to stop. I will try to write a letter or set up an appointment to fully understand why these projects, we need to protect our basic citizens of Cadillac, and that should be the most important the goal of the city of Cadillac, and we're facing this hostile drug environment, and I know it's COVID and everybody's tense, but it needs to stop. I don't know how we're gonna run to an answer. And also, we need to take another serious study look, at our green and solar power here, just not along with the city of Cadillac, but the whole state of Michigan, because we take a look at what just happened in the state of Texas and all those millions of people that lost power for days and everything. And we need to really take another serious look at, I know it's a different subject, but the cost of home heating is rising for the citizens of Cadillac and for all citizens of the state of Michigan. Thank you, Council.
Thank you. Okay, seeing no one else, we'll close public comment and move to the good of the order. Marcus, I wondered if you could share with the council the opportunity that we had to come together as the West Corridor Group.
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. That's a great update, and I have one other as well. As Mayor Filkins mentioned, the city's Cadillac West Corridor Improvement Authority had their first meeting. There's 9 members on the board, plus staff is certainly involved. Our community development director will be serving essentially as the director of that body, similar to what he does for the Downtown Development Authority. Myself, city attorney, and other staff from time to time will certainly be a part of that body. The meeting went really well. They reviewed a set of draft bylaws and made some recommendations for reformatting some of the sections. The board appointed Shannon Hamner as its first chair person, and Mrs. O'Neill as the first vice chair. And forgive me, I don't recall her first name.
Chris.
Chris, yes, that's right, Christine. The board's going to be meeting again, I believe, in April or May to look at some draft language regarding a tax increment financing plan, similar to a Downtown Development Authority. They have a specific geographic area in which they need to put the framework around for the capture of tax dollars that could then be used specifically for that area to do things to try to improve it, whether it's beautification efforts or other infrastructure related items. That's yet to be seen totally at this point, but it'll be a part of the plan that'll be created and developed that'll set the framework for the future vision for that area of our town. Also wanted to mention, Mayor and members of the council, that we do have a special meeting next week. Actually, we have 2 of them. One is on Tuesday, the 23rd at 4:30. It's with respect to the special trailhead related meeting. I would encourage, certainly the public to attend if they're interested. This project, for those that may or may not be so familiar with it in the public, has been talked about now for, I want to say, the better part of a decade, maybe even a little bit longer, about trying to create, a way to extend the White Pine Trail closer into the sort of downtown core of the community here on the east side of town, and specifically really to create a new place for people of our community, whether they're senior citizens or youth or everyone in between, to be able to congregate at. And so whether you ride a bicycle or you don't, or you're coming off the White Pine Trail, or you're looking at just starting sort of an adventure on the trail, the trailhead component of it will have amenities and things that people might like to visit, just simply to picnic at, and a new place to go to. So we are looking forward to getting that project off the ground. The purpose of the meeting is for council to basically pick one of three options for us to now go and bid out on, and then report back later this summer. The question that a member of the public asked this evening regarding why we're looking at surveying with respect to low to moderate income households. The purpose for that is to make ourselves eligible for grant dollars from the federal government that can be used to help create public places and public spaces, pay for public infrastructure. If we're on the federal government's low to moderate HUD list, Housing and Urban Development list, that also makes us eligible for grants and low interest loans through the United States Department of Agriculture Rural Development Division, something that we could use to help offset the cost of buying police cars and equipment for public works and whatnot, which is also something that we'd like to have available to us. There's no guarantee that we're going to get recertified, and if we do, there's no guarantee that we may not be right off the list a year or two down the road. But to be able to take advantage of outside funding sources as best as possible is the primary or underlying reason, as to why we're looking at getting ourselves certified. And that, I believe, will end my comments this evening.
I'd like to see, we backburnered the sign in front of the pavilion because of the COVID outbreak last year, with some light at the end of the tunnel, and perhaps I'd like to get that back on the agenda. New sign, some people have ran into some negativity, but for the people that aren't from Cadillac, that don't know what's going on at the pavilion, a sign down there telling them of the night's activities. And the other sign that's down there is just in terrible shape. I talked to Owen, like I said, about that. We need to, I think, get that back on the agenda. It's a real plus. The pavilion's a plus. The sign lets people know what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you. Love to get it up.
Okay.
Me too.
Let's move with that.
Council member Shippers, I have noticed that someone has cleaned up all of the bits and pieces of the broken plastic sleds. Now that the snow is gone, there was a day that it was super windy and chunks were blowing around in the street. And then within a few hours, I drove by and they were gone. Things were cleaned up. So I'm not sure who did that, but great job, whoever did that. I appreciate that. Who did that, Marcus? Was that the city?
I do not believe it was the city. I think it was the neighborhood.
I love this neighborhood. Thank you, folks, for getting out there and doing that. I know that every time my family, they like to hike up the hill, and they always bring a trash bag and pick up anything that's in their way. So whoever did all that, good job. Thank you.
I was muted. I need to get a new t-shirt that says I was muted. But if there's nothing else this evening, we will go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. See you next week.
Okay.